So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear sisters and brothers, if whoever is watching this, inshallah. We are here in the month of April with our another birth story. And this time, she's my best friend. Uh, like, best friend as in, we know each other since years now. We studied in the same college, being teaching in the same school, and then eventually we could, get more closer and better further in life, alhamdulillah. So, um, about me, I am Sneha Bakal from Birth Allies. I am a homeschooler mom with two handsome boys around me the whole time. And I love teaching children, especially toddlers. So I'm a Jolly Ponies instructor as well. My birth experiences got me into the world of birth work. So I am someone who is holding hands of mother during pregnancy, labor, birth, and postpartum. I give childbirth classes to parents in pregnancy and then handhold them in their ups and downs during the pregnancy and then be with them in their most vulnerable time of labor and birth. Alhamdulillah. So I'm fortunate that I work in Mumbai. So Mumbai, Thane, Navi Mumbai. And that's about me. And Afrin Sayed is an amazing artist. She is by profession a teacher. She lives in UK with her son and husband, Imran Karolia Bhai and Isa Warrior. I call him like that. So Isa's story is going to be the story of the day. So I welcome you, Sister Afri, here once again. The podium is yours. I'll pin you and shout.
Jazakallah khairan for the lovely intro. I'm so happy to be here so that I can share my birth story. So it was around 2021 that 2020 I got married, then COVID hit, and then I was stuck in Mumbai for a year, and then after a year I moved into the UK 2021 to my husband, and then alhamdulillah, everything was going well, smooth, and then eventually, just after a couple of months, I found out I'm expecting, and like every other woman, I was really happy and elated that okay, now I'm gonna be a mom. It's like it was kind of a dream as well to see your own, child. And then it was a very happy moment altogether, and then here in the UK, it's not like, how in Bombay you just found out and then you just go to the doctor and you see the gynecologist, and the process is completely different here. So here we have midwives that help you and support you throughout your pregnancy. So you have to like fill in a form and to let them know that okay, you're expecting your like missed period dates and stuff, and then from that note they will take all the notes and then they'll book you an appointment with the midwife at around 8 weeks. So yeah, and then eventually when the time came, I went to the midwife. So the first appointment is like a very long one, maybe up to around an hour. So they take all of your details and everything. Sorry, the little one will be a bit noisy in the background. Forgive me for that. And then and then everything was like processing. Okay, now things are moving ahead. And then she took all my details in, and then she booked me for a scan, for 12-week scan. So that was my very very first scan. And the midwife was really nice. They tell you in the beginning like what kind of birth you want to go for, home birth or natural birth, or up to you. It's your decision, it's your pregnancy, so they give you the the right to choose. So so yeah, and then at 12 weeks I went for my scan with my husband. We both were very excited. I couldn't sleep because it was my first scan. And then the radiologist just she was trying to figure it out, the little one. So she said something is a bit unusual. I'm not able to see the baby properly. I mean the fetus properly. And then I was, kind of mixed feelings were there inside, like, oh no, what's happening? And then, I was a bit scared. But then she said, don't worry. we'll book you for another appointment with the senior gynecologist who's gonna, see and how things are. And the very next day, I was called in to see the senior gynecologist, and he did my scan. He assured me, "Don't worry, we'll just do a scan and see how things are." And then that was the lowest point, I can say, in the pregnancy period for me. So the doctor said that there's a hole in the baby's abdominal wall, and I was completely shattered. To be honest, right now, even when I'm trying to convey the entire story, I'm quite emotional, because obviously that wasn't the very best news I heard. And he said that the baby's bowels, the large intestine, the small intestine, and other organs of the, that is there inside, around, in and out around your stomach, is protruding out of the belly button. He doesn't have a belly button, he said. There's a hole. So basically, he said that we don't have any known, you can say, like, the reason why you have this, but usually it happens among young women and people who are having intake of alcohol and stuff. But I wasn't in neither of the category. So he said that it's like unknown, the reason is still unknown, but that's the possible chances. And I was completely shattered. I was in tears at that moment. And but the doctor said that don't worry. I still remember those statements that he mentioned, that it's not very common, but it's not also that we haven't dealt with some like this kind of cases. So that gave me a little bit of assurance that, okay, if the senior doctor is saying something like this. And he also said that you don't have to go for abortion, you don't have to think about that, the baby will be absolutely fine, 90% everything's going to be okay. And then he assured me about everything. He told me that don't worry, we'll be monitoring you regularly on a regular basis and see how things are progressing. But still, for me, I could just echo the words, what he said, that he doesn't have a belly button and my baby is gonna find it hard, for the initial couple of months. The moment I stepped out of the door, I was just crying. I was lost. And then the nurse was right standing there, and then she took me a room. There's a room in the NHS sector here in the maternity ward. It's called like a Sahar room or something. I'm not sure. I can't remember the name. It's like a enclosed room, dark, with some subtle music going on in the background, and some nice paintings. And she took me there. Settle down here, cry your heart out, just calm yourself down. So I guess that was very touching for me, because if I was back in Bombay, if I was crying, no one would have been bothered about me. It's okay, she's crying. No one's gonna give a damn about it. But then she took the efforts of taking me to that room, and then my husband and myself, we were just sitting there. She said that, take your time, settle down yourself, speak, and then just calm yourself down. And she asked for me, like she need anything, any like coffee, tea, anything. That was really kind of her, because that's a point where you really need a kind of reassurance and some kind words from someone. So that was a very touching thing as well that happened that day. And then eventually I just came home, and then my husband was very positive. He said that don't worry. Then he was into the research kind of thing, like, okay, I'm gonna find out and everything. So he was onto this page called Gastroschisis Baby on Facebook, and then on other social media. So he was just tracking all the different kinds of parents who had this similar kind of situation like me, and like parents who had the babies, and the parents who were in the stages of pregnancy, or like a second trimester or third trimester. So all different kinds of parents were right there, and then they were just sharing their experiences, and they were trying to tell how this went for them. So that also gave us a kind of idea, because obviously we are new parents, I was a first time mom, so obviously it was different for me. I didn't have a clue what's going to happen next. And then throughout the pregnancy, I was very stressful. Like hope, and I kept praying that, Allah, make things easy. I don't know how things gonna be. Just give me the strength. I didn't have my family here. That was also a very a thing, like, I just missed it a lot. Family is, no one can replace your family. The strength and support that you get from your parents, your siblings, is completely out of the world. But alhamdulillah, my husband was really supportive throughout the pregnancy, postpartum, everything. So after that, my trimester was as normal as others. I didn't have experience anything like unusual because of the baby. I had the normal. I had nausea a lot for my like first 4 months. Then eventually it settled down, and then I was having my usual cravings of all the chaat and everything. I was missing Bombay street food a lot. So that's how it went. And then I was going for my regular scans as usual, every month, every 3 weeks, something like that. And the doctor kept telling me the baby is doing fine, he's growing, his weight is increasing. It was not like his weight was stuck or something. That was also a concern, but alhamdulillah, every scan was a positive. I used to always pray, and before going, that Allah, hope this scan is good, nothing is wrong, hope my baby is thriving, and he's he was a kind of dealing with a kind of a battle inside my womb. So I always ask Allah to give him and me the strength to strive throughout my pregnancy. And soon after that, months after all my scans, on around 28th week of my pregnancy, I was booked in for another appointment with a team of doctors. So there was like around 8 to 10 team of people, including the surgeon, the senior surgeon, assistant surgeon, the anesthesiologist. I don't know if I'm saying it right. And then the nurse, the neonatal nurse, who's going to look after Isa, and the nurse who would be looking after me after recovery, like when I had the surgery, then who's going to look after me in that period of time. So the whole team of nurses, doctors, and surgeons, everyone was there. And it was like a board of meeting kind of stuff. So a whole table and people sitting around that. So they just explained each and every step. So the condition that my baby had is called gastroschisis, where there's a defect, there's a hole in the abdominal wall. So when the baby in the stage where the wall is formed, so it happens during that time. So nearly around between second to third month of your pregnancy, when the baby walls is not formed, that time the defect takes place, and intestine just starts to grow out of the belly. So yeah, and then they explained me the possibilities, like what's gonna happen, how the operation's gonna be like. And then they kept, at every stage they kept reassuring me that don't worry, we have dealt with cases like this. 1 in 5,000 people suffer from this. My next door neighbor, her grandson has the same situation. Even she was supporting me that don't worry, he's absolutely fine. He's like 15 years old now, and he's like thriving. He's a good, handsome young boy. Then that also helped me to have that confidence that yes, even my baby would be okay in the end, inshallah. And yeah, and then in the meeting, throughout the meeting, as I told earlier, that they assured me and my husband, and then they said, that the neonatal unit is a bit scary, they told me, because there are lots of monitors and like the beep sound. So they told me that don't worry at all about the sound. It is a bit scary because of all the the wires that connected to the machine. The baby needs the external support because the baby can't do on his own after the surgery. So they told me once the delivery is done, they gave me 2 possibilities of having a normal birth and also C-section. So because because of the defect my baby had, there was high chances as well that I will go for C-section. But the doctor also mentioned that there are chances you'll have a vaginal birth as well. Depends upon the situation when you reach that stage. So obviously, when I knew it's like this condition, I said that, okay, yes, I have to prepare myself for C-section as well, because at the end, I want to meet my baby. I want to hold him. I want to tell him that he is a warrior, and he has done pretty well. Not pretty well, quite well, and it was quite overwhelming. Then apart from that, they also mentioned that the baby can have two possibilities again as well, that they'll, straight after the baby is born, they will take him for the surgery right then and there. They won't waste any time, because obviously all the organs are, outside. They don't want any kind of infection, because if that happens, then it will be more complicated. So I had to prepare myself for that as well, that I have to stay strong. I'll be away from my baby. I won't get that touch and stuff, all that. So they're gonna, do a primary suture. So that is like pushing all the organs back inside the, tummy, and then they'll just suture it, close the tummy, and that's it. And then eventually from there they'll monitor the progress of the baby. And the second thing was, I don't know, Sneha, if you got that kind of image, if you can show.
I'll share the picture.
Okay, so the picture that Sister Sneha has put up on the screen. So, the bag kind of a thing that you see is a silo bag, and all the thing that you see inside are the intestines of the baby, all the thing that is there inside the baby's stomach, the large intestine and other organs and small intestine, everything. And because the baby didn't have all the organs before, so the stomach, is small, and suddenly the stomach to take all of those organs, it takes time for adjust and find its own space, its position basically. So the doctors mentioned that first thing that I said was a primary closure, and the second thing would be this. If the organs are not, they are very big or something like that, if they're not able to push everything in, we'll have to go with this process, which is called as the bag that you see is called like a silo bag, and just like suspended, and all the organs are in the silo bag, and every day, little by little, the organs are pushed inside. Okay, so that's how the process is. So again, learning about new things, it was so scary for me, and I was hoping that let that be, like a primary thing. Don't let him go for, the major things and possibilities. And they also mentioned about if the baby is not doing good after the operation, they might have to open and do another surgery to get some of the intestine cut, suture it, and again put it back, because obviously the intestines are big, obviously, so you don't know how the baby is going to do after pushing everything inside. So they said that we'll have to cut some of the intestine and then do another operation and put it back again. So like there were so many things, it was like, oh my god, it's so much to take in for the first time. But then I said no. I just kept telling myself that no, everything's going to be okay, inshallah, and then Allah Ta'ala won't burden me beyond what can I bear and my child can bear. So yeah, and then that was all about the meeting that took place at around my 28th week. And here, in the UK, you have like two kind of hospitals: general hospital, where everything is like general, and another one, as the name says, royal hospital. So all the complicated things or anything, when you have any complications, you are transferred to royal hospital. And as the name says, royal, actually it's so royal, the way they treat you is royal. They keep you like, on the palm of your hand. They give you that kind of attention, and people are around you, the nurses, the midwife, and the way they support you, that if you need anything, any kind of support, we are all here. So that was really good. Like, I couldn't imagine. I thought I'm in a 5-star hotel kind of a thing, you know, the way the hospitals were here and the way they treat you, so polite, so kind, and very, very positive, to be honest. That, you know, that releases your half of your stress of being in the hospital. Oh my God, I'm going to the hospital. But alhamdulillah, it was good in that sense. At least that calmed me down. And then the time came. I was again booked in for another appointment for my 36-week scan. So yeah, so after every starting of the 4th week, I used to get called for a scan. And then I went in again, praying that hope everything's okay. And then I was like, you know, chilled and relaxed. Okay, I've got a couple of more weeks, you know, like that. But the doctor said that, you know, we'll have to, I'm going to call you. There's something, you know, kind of a complication. The baby's bowels are in stress. So they were like gobbling up, you know, because they were quite big enough. When they were small, it wasn't a problem. But then now they're so, you know, big, and they were just getting, you know, complicated among each other. So he said that I'm going to discuss it with a team of doctors that I had, you know, the 8-10 doctors, and I'm going to give you a call back. And then on the same day, I had an appointment with my midwife as well to give me the update. What was the scan? How was the scan basically? And what did the gynecologist said? I went to the midwife, and then I told her everything what has happened. And then she said, "Don't worry, we'll give you a call back and see how things are. But don't you worry, everything's gonna be fine." That's what she said. And soon after that, we were just returning from my midwife, and I was just close to my house. But then, you know, just a week before, I had prepared my hospital bag with all the essentials. I said anytime could be. So the doctor already told us that keep that bag ready for you. So whenever the time, you can straight away rush to the hospital. And just before I was just about to reach my house, and I get a call from the hospital that you'll have to come to the hospital straight away. We're going to admit you, and we're going to perform a C-section because the baby is in distress and we can't take any risk. So obviously I was prepared that it can go for C-section. And more importantly, I want to meet my baby. And yeah, my husband went, he got the bag, and in the same car. And again, we went back to the hospital. It was like, you know, in and out of the hospital throughout the day. And yeah, then the night when I went there, it was around evening, 5 or 6 o'clock. And now because I had lunch and vote and everything, they can't operate on me. So they told me, you know, that we'll have to delay it a bit by tomorrow. So I said, okay, that's a relief, because I wanted to eat my dosa and idli and stuff. I was craving for it, and I knew I can't even like go for rice and stuff like that after I've delivered the baby. So I made my husband run around 11 o'clock. They get me dosas and idlis. I want to eat. I'm craving for it. Before I go into my operation, everything, I want to, you know, relish my last meal nicely. That was it. And then because that was my 36th week, and then was one day they said that you know, the baby's lungs can be a bit small, so they gave me 2 steroids injections, very painful, but alhamdulillah, that phase went through as well. And the next day, I was nil by mouth, and around 10 o'clock they were just preparing me. The nurses were coming in, checking on me, doing, you know, what is it that they do, the sound? What do they do? I don't remember. What do they call?
The NST.
I don't know. Yeah, I like ECG kind of a thing, you know, where they hear the.
So they check the baby's movement, they check the baby's heart rate, they check how things are inside.
Yeah, so that was like maybe 4 to 5 times until I was there, like from night till the next morning. They would keep checking on how's the baby, because obviously that was a concern. And yeah, and then around 11 o'clock, the doctors, everyone, the entire team, remember I told you, everyone was in there. Then they were just I just went in the surgery gown and everything. They prepared me, they told me to relax and everything, just so that I can be a bit mentally prepared as well. That now I'm going to go for a big surgery. Obviously, it was my first surgery of my life, and to be honest, lying on that table reminded me of death. So again, that was a very eye-opening thing as well. That eventually that's your end and how things will be. So it was a kind eye-opening thing. And then I was given the anesthetic injection. So obviously it is painful, but then the process just went slowly, smoothly. Everything, doctors were coming and checking, can you feel the sensation, everything, so that they were trying to make like assure like everything's okay. It's not like sometimes when they give you anesthetic, it doesn't work completely. It's like half of the body is in there and then half not. And yeah, so they around like maybe 3 to 4 times they checked on me that I shouldn't feel anything up till here. That's what there was the main concern. So yeah, and then my husband was called in. So again, that was I was hoping that they allow him, because I didn't know that okay, how things are here. But alhamdulillah, he was allowed in with proper a dress code and everything, and he was right next to me holding my hand. And it was Juma. It was 14th of Ramadan, April, and just around like 12:25, they said it will be like a 5-minute operation. They're just gonna like cut me. And then I said okay, and then actually it was very quick. I didn't even like realize okay, it's done. And they just the photo that Sister Sneha had put on the poster, that's the exact photo of my little one when he was out of my tummy. And they showed me, and the doctors told us that you might not hear the baby cry, because sometimes the gastroschisis baby, yeah, that is the picture where he was out of my tummy. And if you can see the bowels, I don't know if you can see, yeah, the bowels were out of the tummy. And they said that he's not gonna cry. But to be honest, he screamed like anything, and that was a good sign. Because baby is crying, and then he was so loud that all the doctors, everyone, they were just laughing and giggling, and they were happy that the baby has done really good so far. So yeah, and then I was just yearning for like a kiss. Sneha, can you just move into the previous picture? Yeah. So here, they put up like a bag, and all the organs and his legs are just in the bag, so that he doesn't get into any kind of infection. So they just put him into the bag like this, and they straight away took him to the next room where all the operation and everything was ready for him, basically. So now I was done with my surgery. Now it was my baby's time for the surgery. And this was him with all the wires, with all the monitoring. I can still remember that day. That was very emotional. So I was in my recovery, and my baby surgery went for like 4 hours. And obviously, because I couldn't feel because of the anesthesia, I was just lying there. I couldn't feel anything. But my husband was there. He said the baby's doing fine. Don't you worry. The weight is okay, not too bad. And because the way he was screaming when he was out of my tummy, that was a good sign, as the doctors mentioned earlier. And after 4 hours, then that was so nice. They didn't lifted me up and put me on a wheelchair to go and see the baby, because my baby was in the neonatal unit where all the babies are with complications, with all the the monitoring system. They took the entire bed, and the bed is like has a trolley kind of a rollers. So they took the entire bed to the neonatal unit, and they aligned the bed with my baby's incubator. And there were 2 holes in the incubator. I could just touch the hand of my baby. So again, that was very that wasn't something like I always used to think of. I wanted to hold my baby. I wanted to held him and touch him and kiss him, but I couldn't do all of that. So again, that was very hard for me to take it. But seeing with all the wires and everything that he was in, my like his tiny feet, where they were like getting his some blood test and stuff, and all those pipes that was connected to the machines and everything, that was very hard for me to see. Every time after that I used to go into the neonatal care, I couldn't stop myself from crying to see my baby in that kind of stage. But then every passing day I was telling, no, he's gonna be okay. My husband kept telling me, the doctors told that it might take 2 to 3 months for him to recover and to get discharged from the hospital. And I was like, 2 3 months, oh my god, how I'm gonna survive like that? No. And yeah, and then after that, my husband kept telling me, he's gonna be at Eid, we're gonna celebrate Eid together, all three of us at our home. And I was like, how is this possible? The doctor said that 2 months, two or maybe more than that. And yeah, and then, but Alhamdulillah, the progress that Isa was showing was tremendous. He wasn't allowed, obviously, breast milk feeding, through me, but obviously they were giving my milk through, orally or intravenously, sorry, for the first 4 to 5 days. And then they started, giving like, to that injection kind of a thing, orally like that. And soon, every passing day was a good news for us. Every passing day, the doctor was saying, slowly, his wires were coming out, like mouth thing, then from his legs, and then eventually it was just the hands. So that was kind of a relief for me as well, that I can see my baby coming out of that whole battle that he's been battling for so long. And then 7th day, I was told that I can do skin to skin. And the nurse said that, why not doing skin to skin? What's the matter with you? And you're not going to hold your baby. The way they were saying, like, okay, can I do? And then I was like, surprised. Okay, now I can hold the baby. So that was a very, very happy moment for me. And then I just held him inside me, and he was so tiny. I could just literally have him inside me. And that was really nice. The cuddle, the touch, the feel, the feel at that moment obviously is priceless. And it was all worth it. And then even after that, okay, sorry about that. So after that, everything went alhamdulillah very pretty smoothly. And they told me that I was discharged. I was told to go home, but obviously the baby has to be in the care. And they told that, don't you worry, you don't even have to come. It's up to you. If you want to come to see your baby, you can come anytime, 24/7. You and your husband can come any time of the day, they told us. And then they said that, he had like 2 nurses to look after him day and night, and they have like shift patterns. So every nurse is to, change after every hours to track him, monitor him, the kind of, his poo, like, is he, that was the thing that they all wanted, so that he can, if he's able to do his bowels properly. That was the concern. And then only they'll get an understanding that, okay, the operation was actually successful one. And I was told to go home, and it's like, don't you worry, we are going to take care of the baby. But that was like, okay, is that possible? How come? So like obviously, if it was another like parenting somewhere else, they would be 24/7 there with the baby, regardless of whatever they say. But instead, that you don't have to be here because you can't be here, obviously. And the next thing is like, all the doctors and surgeons and rounds, and to check on the baby, the nurses, everyone were there. So they said that you don't have to worry, you recover from your surgery, you take rest, you come out of that delivery stress, trauma, everything. And then now, because once the baby's handed over to you, your life is going to completely change. So, but as a mother, obviously, you can't be apart from your baby. I used to go every day to visit him. And then every day I was like, the doctors used to come and tell me his progress. So that was a good thing. And then on the 15th day, it was like just around 2 weeks. I get a call midnight. My husband's at work, and they say that first they call. You know how they say, don't be scared. Don't worry, everything is okay. You know, before the mother is into panic, they first it conveyed that message that don't panic, everything is okay. It's just that Isa is very, very hungry and we need you right here. We need to breastfeed him. So that was like, again, another, like, you know, it was a bit funny as well that, okay. And then they, you know, the way they say, like, Isa is very, very hungry. He really wants your milk. And then they called me to ask, are we allowed to give him formula milk, or do you want to give your breast milk? So they took the consent from me, and then I was like, no, I want to give like my own breast milk. And then my husband obviously wasn't at work, but my neighbors were so good. They dropped me to the hospital just around midnight, like around maybe 1 in the morning. And this little fella was just so hungry. I could see he was crying, he was screaming. And then, you know, because I never had the breastfeeding experience before, because he was giving, you know, he was being fed intravenously and orally. So another midwife came in to show me how to do it, how to, you know, latch properly. It was painful a bit in the beginning, because obviously I don't know what's happening, and the baby also didn't get the latch straight after birth. So even for him, it was a bit new as well. So the night was a bit long for me, but alhamdulillah, they supported me, and the, you know, the caretakers and nurses, they told me, we'll see, Isa, you go. They made another bed for me, in another room. He said, you go there, lie down, have some sleep. We're gonna look after Isa. And the nurse was literally, you know, I was like for 2-3 hours away. And then when I came in, she was literally holding Isa like this in her hands, because Isa was very unsettled. So that also, I really appreciated the way the care they put in. Then it's not their, like, you know, what kind, like, job that they have to do it, holding the baby like for 2-3 hours. But alhamdulillah, they were so kind enough to do that for me, because they knew that Isa was a bit unsettled, and it was a long night for me as well. They gave me the time to, you know, get some sleep. And then the, you know, the pediatrician, he came in, then he saw Isa, then he saw his bowel movements and everything, and he said that you're good to go. I was like, okay, okay. I mean, that was again a surprise for me, and I never thought it was a second day of Eid, and I was like, I was telling my husband that, you know, your duas are fulfilled. Allah has fulfilled your dua. Not the first Eid, but at least it was the second day of Eid. He said that our baby is gonna be with us, and then it was time to go. And I was like, okay, we are finally going home now, where we all three can enjoy and relish those moments with our new, you know, our newborn. And we were all dressed up, ready to go. And the nurse comes in and like, you should have a family picture now. The, you know, the little one is now, you know, come out of that such a huge operation, everything, has have it as a memory. So I was like, okay. And they were real. That was, you know, like small gestures that just makes you feel very nice. And then we came back home, and that day was really, really nice. We were all just, you know, looking at Isa, his tiny fingers and toes, and the way, you know, he was thriving. And then for us, he was a warrior. He was a true warrior. And that's how the whole process was. And I would like to, I don't know if I'm okay, I would like to add the postpartum thing. Are we having enough time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, you can add it.
So I'll just quickly conclude it. I don't want to get into too long. So after that, the midwife came in just after 5 days, and they bring all their equipment to your house, because they know that you are not in that state to be moving around in and out of the hospital after the surgery and after the delivery. Even if you have a normal delivery, they do come at your house. And I forgot to mention before, when I was in my last trimester, they come to check the place where you live in, what arrangements have you done for your baby, for your little one? Like, how have you prepared things for him? Like, like basically clean house and stuffs for him, what you might need, like basic things. You don't have to go like extravagant, but things that will be needed after the baby is, is home. So yeah, and then the health visitor comes into the picture now after delivery. So she comes to check on me. She comes to check on Isa. So they do the weight. They do, they measure the head and everything, all of that. And that's how now starts. And now they come in every week to check on Isa. How is he, doing with his weight and everything, his feed. And as Isa was very hungry all the time, so we had a kind of a meeting with the breastfeeding department kind of, thing. Like there's a team of nurses and doctors.
Lactation consultants.
Lactation, yeah. Thank you, Sneha. So lactation consultants. So they told me that up to you. The decision is all up to you, because even I was finding a bit hard as well. So they said that we can start with like formula and then do breastfeeding as well, and eventually you can, once your supply increases and he is, latching more properly, the breast milk supply can go up and the formula can go down, and then that's how you can just take it out of the way. And then they also told me that it's up to you, whatever you think is best for your baby, you can decide and go with it. And then I said that, okay, yes, I should go for formula milk because of Isa's needs, the needs that he had. So that's how we started with half formula and then half breastfeeding. And then around six months, he came down to formula milk, very like less. Around 8-9 months, he left it completely. He was entirely on breast milk. Up till like just recently, when he turned 2 years old, he was on breast milk, alhamdulillah. And then eventually my breastfeeding journey went really, really nice. And I was happy to do. First it was hassle free. Second, you can do it anytime, anywhere, without any concerns. You don't have to wash bottles and those, milk and this and that. Was such a headache, to be honest. Then even Isa was like, because eventually when the babies grow, they understand the difference between formula milk and the breast milk. So that's how it went with my. What have you done? Have you marker on your face, Isa? Shall we see? Do you wanna say hi? Shall we say hi? Come on then. Yeah, he's my Isa, my little warrior. Say assalamu alaikum. Say hi. So, say hi. Say hi. So he's Isa. He's my warrior baby. He's been absolutely brilliant. He's thriving. He's doing really well. If you want to see, I can show his belly button, how it looks like. If you see, he doesn't have a belly button. So, yeah. So that's how it is. And yeah, and up till 5 months, they had a track on me, the health visitor. They came on to check on me, on Isa. And every week, he was gaining 500 grams. So that was a very, very good sign. His bowel movements, they were having a track on that, and the color and everything. So everything went well from there, because the main thing was like he was eating well, he was having his milk and everything, and obviously his cycle was going really smooth. And every now and then they also kept asking me that how is my mental health, how am I dealing with him alone, because I didn't have my family here. It was just me and my husband. Most of the time my husband was on work, so how was I managing with him all by myself? So they also asked me if you need any kind of support for, like obviously postpartum is not easy. PPD is real, it's true, and it's different for everybody, to be honest. And me being away from my family, I went through it. But the system here is really nice. The way they support you, the way they take care of you. They also take feedbacks that what can we do to improve our system. So even that was a really good thing, that okay, we can give our input as well, like what we want. They also kept asking me what you want from us, what what you need that we can provide you with. And then the health visitor kept on checking on my mental health, and then from there as well it went really nice. And then yeah, that's how it was. And then alhamdulillah, we are good. And then he's gonna be a big brother soon. So
Inshallah.
hoping inshallah I have a normal birth this time. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, alhamdulillah. So, Jazakallah khair,
So
it was nice. I could imagine the journey when you were mentioning it, because I was there on call while you had this craving for the dosa, and you were on call with me, and you were saying that yeah, the doctors are checking in. And one
yeah.
thing you also mentioned at that moment, that the doctors were so kind enough that they motivated you that don't worry, this is your cesarean, but definitely you can try for the natural birth next time.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah,
during
definitely.
before your surgery. So overall I really felt very good, listening from the care providers, these positive words which you got,
Yeah.
because that's really rare in India. Yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So sisters, if you have any questions, anything you want to ask about this birth defect or whatever, gastrochisis, and anything you want to ask. So I also remember that Afrin was having a really hard time dealing with the postpartum. So she did not feel shy to take support. So I remember one of our doulas in India, Reba Daniel. She hold that space of having cesarean mothers coming in and joining her listening session, where Afrin was a part of. And Afrin, could you tell about that? How did that help to you? That session of hers when you attended?
Yeah, no, that definitely helped me in many aspects. You know, because the kind of state you are in, no one can, obviously the shoes that you are in, no one can fit in that shoes, because only you know what you're going through. Even sometimes you're so pissed at your husband as well, even though they try to support you. But that's the phase that is you can't really explain what you need. But the way the session was held, the way the positivity that she was trying to bring in, that was really nice. And that really helped me to overcome my postpartum. And then another thing that I really appreciate that for my husband as well, that he said that I'm booking your ticket back to India, go have a nice time with your family. And not even for weeks, he sent me for like 2 months 10 days. So that was a good break for me, and that was like a surprise visit to my family as well. So that you know change of environment and people around me gave me so much of boost and energy. Then when I came back, I was able to go on. It was like a battery charge for my family. So I just got charged completely and wholly. And then I kept all those the things that I learned from the session. And then obviously Sneha was always there to support me on calls. um, Even though at that time I guess she was into Dola thing, but not very completely. And then still she in whatever way she could support me through communicating, through conversations, through other things. Alhamdulillah, that all together made a very big impact on my whole journey. And then even my husband, he was there always to support me and understand what my needs were. And eventually even he got a hang of it, that this is what she needs, or this is what needs to be done. And that's how it all went. And alhamdulillah, just after when I came back from my home visit, from my home country, that was really nice. And I from there it just went really well. Yeah.
Sisters, do you have any questions? So, like with this case, you mentioned that the pregnancy was as normal as it should be. But the only thing which was add on to it was that you had to be under observation like every week or every month. The scan was needed. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. There was like an early intervention from the doctors that was needed. In the regular, like normal birth for normal, pregnancies, it's like 12 weeks, 20th weeks, 28th, and then 32 and 36 weeks. But with me, because of the defect, it was like every 3 to 4 weeks. That was the only difference, to be honest. Other than that, I guess everything went just as same as how any other woman would experience her pregnancy journey. Yeah.
so I think the so April is the cesarean awareness week month, and here we
Okay.
speak about the unnecessary cesareans which are not
Yeah.
needed, and it is happening like every day in and out
Yeah.
without the consent or with the consent, but misguidance or whatnot,
Yeah.
what's happening
The
around the
pressure
world.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here we see the good part of this intervention, that this can actually save life. So we need cesareans when we need it and not when it
Yeah.
is not needed. So
Needed.
in the
Yeah.
case of gastroschisis or any defect where
Mm-hmm.
where this intervention can really help the mother and the baby survive and still can recover better than the unnecessary cesareans which are happening at a rapid speed. So parents and mothers, especially, we got, so birth is again unpredictable. We do not know how it's going to turn, but having care providers with you who are in sync, with your ideology of birth, and you be preparing yourself for it, really helps the process of birth and labor. And having people who are, um, who are transparent. So, as in your case, they were like pretty transparent, pretty open to communicate whatever it's happening. So, at the earliest in your early pregnancy, they did mention about that it could be possible that you birth under normal circumstances as a normal birth, or
Mm-hmm.
if not, then a cesarean.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was a
That's what
beautiful thing.
that was the thing that made me, like mentally prepared myself. Like, okay, there can be, like, they were trying to show me the worst case scenarios. So they were trying to show me all the worst case scenarios, because eventually they don't want that the patient to go in under any kind of shock, or any kind of surprise that, okay, this wasn't something that I imagined. So that's how it was. The way that they give you a kind of insight to every possibilities was a good thing, and that helped me to prepare myself mentally. So that was a very good thing, I think. Because back in India, how things are like, they'll be coming to you, okay, this is it, and then we have to do C-section because the baby is in trouble and mommy can lose or something like that, and then you don't have any other option. You just straight away said that, okay, we'll have to perform a C-section. And then when you're under pressure, it's done. You just go for C-section. You have no other option left. So alhamdulillah, that wasn't the case with me. So
And I,
yeah.
I feel that that was a blessing for you, that you
Yeah,
being in
no,
UK,
definitely,
yeah, you being
definitely.
in
If
UK,
I
having
Yeah,
the having
yeah,
been tested with a with pregnancy like this,
yeah.
and then still you
Mm-hmm.
was given the royal
No,
treatment,
definitely. No, no,
and
definitely.
alhamdulillah, a part of where though you had zero support as in the house, but
Yeah,
definitely the care providers support was
yeah.
the most important support you needed at that
Important.
moment. Yeah.
No, definitely. That was really important for me. It was really nice, actually, because if I was back in India, if I was known with some kind of anomaly, they would have just straight away said that, you go for an abortion or something like that. But here, they don't tell you like that. They said that it's up to you, but then we don't recommend. When the doctor saying that, then that just gives
That
you a
gives you a
kind
good
of
hope. Yeah, hope
good
and
hope that,
possibility.
and
Yeah.
you just lie on that fine thread of hope that yes, things are possible. And
Mhm.
the way, his name is Dr. Scudamore,
Mm.
and the way he said that, it's not very common, but it's not like something that we haven't dealt with. So that statement throughout my pregnancy was a kind of a motivation,
Yeah,
statement for
alhamdulillah.
me. And alhamdulillah, I was holding on to that. Yeah.
So I think Jazakallah khair, Sister Afreen. We
Barakallah
are at the
feek.
end of this
I'm
virtual
glad.
session, alhamdulillah.
No, I'm glad I was able to tell my story, because I always thought of, trying to share my experience and the defect that my baby had with
Yeah.
everyone, with more and more people, so we can get aware how things are, and not everyone
Like
can
you do
have
not
a
have to
very,
panic. There is
yeah,
solution to it, yeah.
yeah,
And there are
there is
treatments available
definitely,
for this,
yeah,
alhamdulillah.
yeah, no, definitely, no doubt.
So Jazakallah khair everyone for joining in,
Love.
and the recordings are there, so it would be
Mhm.
available on YouTube. So in case if there's someone who is born, who's detected with this animally, this video can be a ray of hope for them that yes, it's possible to have a
Definitely,
birth, and the baby can also thrive
yeah,
later in
yeah,
life, inshallah, with
yeah,
good support and
yeah.
education, and the support the mother needs. That's the most important
Mhm.
thing. So
Yeah, no.
once again, thank you so much, Afreen. Take care. Isa baby. Bye.
You wanna say bye bye? Isa, you wanna say bye bye? Come on, quickly. Say bye bye. So because I'm sitting in my art room and I have all my markers around, he's playing with markers. Say bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Take care. Assalamu
Bye
alaikum.
bye. Walaikum assalam.
Take care.